thank everyone for joining us to Sales Mission on Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. I'm Todd Stahlbaumer. I'm with the State of Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department. And so one of the things we're going to kind of go over a little bit is I wanted to show you what the state has been working on as far as just keeping people informed of what we're going through, what everybody's going through, and kind of our latest campaign on sharing that. And then I'm going to go into some tools that we're getting ready to introduce in January. So we'll be able to walk through those, and I'll walk you all through a specific itinerary just so you can see what's happening there. If you have any questions at any time, please do not hesitate to stop me, raise your hand, turn your mic on and holler. I want to make sure that we keep everybody strictly and started on what is going on. So I'm going to start off with sharing my screen. And I will show you, this is our latest kind of ad. There's an entire series of these, but this is 30-second spots just to kind of show you where we are at in promoting the state. Okay, so with that, let me make sure I stop this. Just to follow up, and we realize that there's different parts of different things happening in different aspects of the country, all of us opening up in different ways and coming back and forth. And we just wanted to mainly have an opportunity to start just saying, hey, if you're ready, we're going to be ready here for you. All of our museums and attractions are on board. We've had very limited closures. Not to say that that's been good or bad, but we are up and running. Construction has continued on some major projects. One of those I'm going to share with you that's going to open next fall. It's called the First Americans Museum. It's a Smithsonian quality museum that will be opening in Oklahoma City right on the river. And just to give you an idea of what that is, I'm going to share my screen again and show you just a little sneak peek because this is completely under construction. So this is on the First Americans Museum.
Oh, you are, you are, you are, you are. Oh, you are, you are, you are, you are. You are, who are, you are, who are, you are, you are, you are, you are. Who are, who are, who are, who are, who are, who are, who are. Oh, yeah. We. Oh.
So you saw it said spring of 2021, but with some delays. Mainly the problem has been the Smithsonian from Washington, D.C. has had each of our tribes, which there's 39 federally recognized tribes in the state of Oklahoma, have been able to go to choose artifacts that will come back to Oklahoma to be on display in this museum that's being built again in Oklahoma City. Any questions on that? There's also a major museum. I don't have a cute little video on it or anything that'll be opening this next year also in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's called OK Pop. It'll be all completely popular cultural displays. So everything from Dick Tracy, who Chester Gould was from Pawnee, Oklahoma, to things about the Outsiders movie, also things with Roy Clark, and anyway, just all the things that are popular culture between movies, music, and literature will all be on display at the museum that's going to be opening in Tulsa this next year as well. So lots of emphasis on that. Also building up a lot of things that are coming along with Route 66 as 2024 or 2026 will be the 100th anniversary of Route 66. And so much activity is coming along with what is going on with that. We introduced a passport program this year, and that will be available to you all as well. So now I'm going to see if this is going to allow me to come into our state program. We've had a couple of hiccups. With our state system, if you didn't realize, our power was out for a couple of weeks and some of our things are still coming back up. So I've had this up once. I'm going to try to get it to come up again. But we'll be introducing a new tool, which we're calling itinerary toolkits for the working time being in Oklahoma, that will be available to you hopefully starting in January. Things seem to be on track with that. And eventually maybe this will cooperate, sorry. But what the toolkits are, there's about 25 to 30 sample itineraries that we've come up with. And I'll walk you through a couple of them. I might have some on a stagnant set that you can also see from, if we're not able to get into it that way. I've got it set up a couple of different ways. Well, apparently our computers are still down. So I'll just go into and talk to you about what they are. So what we will have available is you will be able to go into a section of our website, which will be a vanity URL, which is travelok.com/group. And within that, there'll be segments that show motor coach operators that have functioning or have coaches available in Oklahoma. Some of them may not be located in Oklahoma, but they do business in Oklahoma. We'll also have a list of receptive tour operators that are creating tours and activities into Oklahoma. And within that, if somebody has a standard package that's available, that you can go in and either purchase the whole package or they have a series of dates available, those will be listed in that section as well. And I'll go into an example of that in just a moment. I'm going to keep talking and looking and see if I can get one thing to work. But with that, so you'll be able to go in to those sections and see that. We'll also have a section that has available step-on guides for you in Oklahoma, whether that is in the 2 metro areas. They'll be listed out of where their areas of specialty, where they specialize in, or if they're able to do things for the entire state. So that will be what that part of the new website will be. Then there'll be a section on toolkits. And where I'm going to win with the toolkits is we will have, like I said, 25 to 30 sample itineraries, most of which are thematic in nature, and almost all of them are specific to Oklahoma, though I'll give you 2 examples of ones that are not. Once you click into the toolkit, so you will find, for example, there'll be a tour that's called Gardens Galore, and it's all about gardening in the state of Oklahoma. When you get into that, there'll be a Word document that is descriptive for the entire tour that will also be in a Word document format. It will not be a guarded PDF. So if you all want to customize from there as well, or you want to paste some of the descriptive into a separate document that you're working from, that'll be available. There's also a timed itinerary for each of the itineraries, suggested itineraries. So one of the things that we know is very frustrating to operators is people will put out suggested itineraries and they're not operational in the least bit. They're pie in the sky. They may have 15 things to do in the morning and 20 things to do in the afternoon. And it all sounds great on paper, but when it comes down to it, how am I going to get my client to those destinations in a timed manner? So this actually takes you through a suggested time for each of the stops on the itinerary and allows for travel time in between each of them as well. So all of that is already completed for you. You can just go in, either customize it or putting into your own mapping programs should you choose to. Also within that is an entire set of escort notes. So you can go and take those escort notes and share those directly with whoever's taking the tour. All of that's put into one place. They'll be customized for each of the itineraries. And again, will be in a document format where you can take those and make them into what you want them to be. The final aspect to it is there will be a PowerPoint completed for each of the itineraries. And that will also be downloadable to you and be customizable within the PowerPoint. And I'm so sorry, I was really expecting to be able to show you all one of these. And I might be able to show you a PowerPoint section. I think I might have one saved outside of our state server. So if that's the case, I'll kind of walk you through, at least give you an idea of what this is to have. But within the PowerPoint, there is a note section. So you'll be able to be the expert on what each of the stops are with what those activities are. And then you will also, we have full rights to each of the images that is in the PowerPoint display. Yeah, sorry guys, it's not, our system is just not cooperating today. But each of the slides you can pull the image from if you want to use it for separate publicity, if you want to make your own marketing flyer, if you want to include it in a presentation of your own, or if you want to put it into a catalog. All of those are there for you to already take. So you don't, if you need to, feel free to reach out to us. But if it helps you from having to wait on a response or things like that, it's already included into that package. So is all that, do you have any questions about any of that? Again, that's our plan is set in January. We will be sending out emails with the links to the sites, probably on a couple of different occasions. We'll be posting it onto our group Facebook page. We'll also be hosting a few Teams meetings. So if you want to come in and see how we suggest that you can use them, we'll send out a link. And if you would like to join us, you can send in and request a time slot that we can include you into a Teams meeting as well. So I'm going to see if any of this is going to let me in, because one of the featured itineraries that we have is called Parties on the Prairie, or Party on the Prairie. And it is a feature that is an exclusive that's available through MARS, or Mid-Atlantic Receptive Services. So once again, this is one of those opportunities that if you find that we have an itinerary available, or you have one that you want to share to be able to market to other groups, please share that with us, and we'll make sure that we put it out onto our site as well, and be able to link directly to your site where that is located. So if you're looking for those kind of opportunities to partner with us in the state, then we will have that for you. Well, apparently it's not going to let me in that way either. So the basic gist though of this particular itinerary is they can be a fly drive. It can either begin or end in Tulsa and or Oklahoma City. So it's a one-directional tour. The first night basically is designed for an arrival night and kind of a shared progressive meal that ends with cocktails on the skyline in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then the next day, the entire itinerary basically takes you around the sights and sounds of what is Route 66. So you get to see some of the on Route 66, enjoy some of the traditional food of what you would find on Route 66. And then that evening, where we get the Parties on the Prairie, that evening ends with the sock hop. With a DJ that we'll have either in a landmark facility such as Kane's Ballroom, it'll be in a convention facility, or it can also be in the new OK Pop Museum. So those are going to be 3 different opportunities for that evening, and you'll be able to scale up or scale down according to your group. The next day you kind of travel through what's known as, or is called, Osage County. One of the things that's very popular in Osage County is Ree Drummond, or better known as the Pioneer Women for Food Network, and makes a stop there. But the more significant thing about Osage County was at one time it was one of the biggest drilling destinations for oil anywhere in the country in the early 1900s. And so you start learning about that rich oil past and heritage of Oklahoma as you make your way across Osage County and into the city of Ponca City. And Ponca City is where Conoco Oil got its start. And that evening you do a oil barons ball. So the party for that evening is all about the wealth and the roaring 1920s, and the story of E.W. Marlin and the founding of Conoco Oil. So the next day you follow the trail further on south and down to Oklahoma City, where in Oklahoma City you're going to get a taste of Western life and the stockyards and the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, and the many attractions that come along with that. That evening, we're going to have a Western themed celebration where we'll either do line dancing or have some type of event that goes along with the Western theme. So the 3 parties on the prairie for this particular itinerary are the Route 66 sock hop, then we have the Oil Barons Ball, and finally a Western swing party. So those are the 3 that go along with that. We're planning on designing these where there'll be a phase 2, and the phase 2 will most likely have an American Indian evening with a celebration and or powwow. There'll also be a culinary aspect to that where the entire day will be about culinary and ending with a cooking class or cooking demonstration. And then third aspect of that's probably going to be a music portion, just because we have so much music celebrations in Oklahoma. So any questions about any of that so far? I know we're getting close to time. I'll open it up if you have any specific questions of things that are happening in the state. We have, again, lots of opportunities through these particular planned itineraries. If you have not seen them and you would like to, make sure that you're on the list. I will put my email address in the chat. And you can email me, and just to ensure that we have you into our database and have you available to visit with about those opportunities. The additional, one of the things I also did not describe, but like the First Americans video that we saw just a little bit ago, and then we have those in our holdings, and then also we have in our holdings a weekly television show that we're able to pull segments out of. So if you need like a little 1 to 3 minute video about a particular stop, all of those are embedded into the PowerPoint as well. So if the slide is about the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, down in the notes section, you'll have all of the highlights of the National Cowboy Museum and Western Heritage Museum. And then if we have any video links, you'll be able to cut and paste those into a browser. So you'll have video opportunity to share as well. So it should be a full multimedia positioning for you to be able to market any of the tours that we're going to be putting out there. And again, they'll all be customizable. We do know that not everybody wants to do every single thing that we may suggest and think that you need to, or there may be something that comes up that there's a specific connection between the travelers that are coming into the state and what those things are available to match those up. And we might be able to move some things around to make that happen.
Hey, Todd, you mentioned that Route 66, the 100th year, is going to be in 2026, and you guys have some things that are getting ready for that event. When are you going to know, like, the activities that are going to be happening, what you guys are going to be doing, so we can start planning around that?
Sure. So actually, the very first event is going to start next year, and AAA of Oklahoma is doing it's a 10-day event, but primarily on 2 weekends, a beginning weekend with a 3-day festival in Tulsa. And then there's travel time between Tulsa and Oklahoma City with the next weekend with the 3-day event, which will have car shows involved with it, major music celebrations and venues. It looks like an art show is going to be in one location, and then a demonstration of artisans in another. But they're planning on doing that every summer, and we should have those dates soon. For starting in 2021 and going up to 2020, past that. Our goal is to have most of the 2026 major events available to you all, at least as highlights and dates by 2024. So Congress just passed a bill this past year to create a Route 66 commemoration committee, and it will be nationwide. So actually Oklahoma's tourism promotion director is the marketing director for it. So we're kind of on the front end of making sure that things are going along, especially with the significance and importance that Route 66 is to Oklahoma.
So the dates for the 3-day festival, even for 2021, are not set yet?
They have just released, and if I send me an email and I'll make sure I can get those back out to you. There was one glitch and they might've had to move things one day or the other. But yeah, because they were gonna start actually in 2020. So, once we're sitting there, and one of the things they're contingent on is, they're bringing in major musicians for 3 different genres in each city. So they're trying to get commitments from them, and so many people's schedules have totally changed over the past year. So that's one of the delays in that, though. But we're working on it, I promise.